This is Boxing Tickets NI in association with SB Sports Chaco. We're delighted to be joined with one of Ireland's newest professionals, Cathal Crowley. How are you, mate?
Good, how are you?
Oh, it's fantastic. I guess it's another busy morning. It's a big morning for Irish boxing. Obviously, Katie Taylor defending her undisputed lightweight titles in London. It's been a busy enough morning for you yourself. You've obviously been out in a run this morning with Mike Perez, so you're keeping yourself busy and keeping yourself active in the lead up to your pro debut.
Yeah, we were out there for a 10K, just a recovery run after a hard week's training.
Definitely keeps the mind active and keeps you ready for what's ahead this weekend. I guess, Catholic, anybody I bring on for the first time, and I don't know a lot about you, to be totally honest, as I am with everybody, so I guess it's more of an insight as to who you are and sort of what you've done as a boxer so far. What age did you start out boxing?
I started when I was about 11. I only got into it really because my friends from school, from primary school, just started boxing down the road and fucking sorry.
Yeah, it's all right.
And I just headed down with them there one of the nights, like, and didn't look back since really, you know. Started fighting them when I was 12. I have 4 counties, 5 Munsters, and 1 Irish title and 1 junior cadet title, All Ireland title. So I've been fighting since I'm about 12, but I was a heavy enough child, like, so a lot of them were by walkover. Like, there wasn't much competition, you know, in the Munster and the county area. So like, I might have 1 or 2 fights for them for the county and the Munster, like, and then try my best in the All Ireland, like.
How did, obviously, I guess when you start off, I guess it's that intrigue sometimes, isn't it? Like, anybody sort of from Ireland, whether it's north or whether it's south, they always seem to get into it for different reasons in boxing. Like, there's some boxers I've spoke to and they heard music coming from somewhere and opened the door, and that was it. They just fell in love with it. How long did it take you to sort of adjust to it and was like, this is for me moving forward? Did it take you a period of time, I guess, until you get punched in the face for the first time, you're like, do you actually enjoy this?
No, like, I really liked it now because, as I said, I was a heavy child. So, like, I was doing every sport, really. Like, I done hurling, football, soccer. Wasn't really good at any of them, you know. And then straight away, I kind of had a knack for boxing, like, and I didn't mind it, like, getting punched and all that. Like, it didn't bother me, like.
And sort of growing up, I was a teenager then, obviously, with boxing. I guess probably more than anything, most parents like their kids to get involved in some sort of, maybe it's karate, MMA, boxing, just so for a self-defense sort of purpose. Obviously, there's so much bullying and stuff about. How did you find adjusting through school as a boxer? Did it just sort of mature you, probably even more so, knowing that the sport you want to do was always in the background?
Yeah, like, it kind of, in some ways, kind of put a target on your back. So, like, people like, oh, he's a boxer, like, it would kind of keep him away from you. But then, you'd have the odd person, think they're like, like, that they could do something then, like, oh, he's a boxer, that doesn't mean anything, that type of way. But yeah, like, I've had a fair few fights, like, outside of the ring, like, when I was younger, back when I was in school. But like, no, most of the time people just kind of knew, like, not to do anything. Like,
was it people more like, obviously, or people like to try and wind you up, or going, oh, look at him, he thinks he's Mike Tyson, or it's did you sort of get people playing about sort of with the fact of it too much, thinking you were a boxer when you were only really starting out?
Yeah, like, it was more like, oh, county champion, like, oh, like, to watch what he like, that means nothing, type of thing. Like, people just acting up, like, but not major ever came out of it, like.
And I guess, sort of, who would you sort of look at role models and things like that? Sort of, I guess at 11, 12 years of age, you sort of, I guess you're in the new age sort of now where social media has always been there sort of for you. So it's probably easier. They obviously find things like years ago in the past, obviously people would just had to look at newspapers to find sort of information on fights. Who would you look to your role models, and who would you like to inspire to be towards? Who do you sort of study?
Well, when I started now, I didn't watch much. When I was starting, Joe, I was just kind of doing it myself. But as I've got older, like there's a lot of like Floyd Mayweather now I watch. I like looking at Mike now, and I train with Spike as well. We do strength and conditioning together around here in Cork. So like just looking at them guys and seeing what they've achieved, and like, you know, aiming to surpass or get to where they've been, like, you know, fighting at the world level, like it's kind of the main goal.
I'm guessing obviously training with Spike, you need to obviously with Spike obviously like to take the Mickey so much out of people, like you sort of have to be thick skinned, because I've obviously seen him in gyms all over the place, and he just likes to take the hand out of people. That's sort of a good thing to have in a way as well, isn't it? Obviously someone that's been there and done it all, and he can sort of pass on inspiration to you yourself.
Yeah, like, you know, being around them guys is just fucking great. Like, you know, just hopefully trying to get to where they are, like where they're at now, in a couple of years' time.
And the Cork scene obviously seems to be on the rise. Obviously, Stephen Cairns, obviously, he's making it obviously as a pro. You've obviously Vladimir Beluska. Obviously, it's settled in Cork as well. It seems to be that there's a revival process starting in Cork. What is it in the air down there that's getting everybody turning pro?
I don't know now, to be honest. There's a lot of good pros coming out of Cork at the moment. It's just, well, for me personally, I was just kind of sick of the amateur game. Felt like I lost a couple of close fights, and, you know, decisions not going your way, that type of thing, and just thought I'd give it a bash going pro, like. But I don't know. There's something in there and down there at the moment.
There definitely is. I also want to touch sort of, I guess, on, you know, I guess when you mention obviously people like Floyd Mayweather, obviously he's won his whole career unbeaten. You've obviously tasted defeat, and obviously tasted bad defeats as obviously an amateur. How has that sort of helped you progress? Sort of, you know, I guess the first time you get beat, you're going, well, not Floyd Mayweather anymore. How did you take defeat? Were you a bad loser, or how did you take it? Did you take it as a learning experience?
Well, I take the positives out of like what I've done good in the fight, what I've done bad in. Obviously, I go back and work on. If I felt like I lost the fight, like I put my hands up straight away and go back to the drawing board and try again, like try and work on things and make myself better.
And obviously, as an amateur, you obviously campaign at heavyweight. What weight class are you going to start out as a pro?
My debut was going to be at a light heavyweight, and I'll campaign around there for the start anyway. I could maybe go down to super middleweight, but we'll see in the future. Like,
and how did sort of going pro obviously come about? Was it sort of always an ambition of yourself, or where did this sort of opportunity come to turn pro? Was it people constantly saying, you know what, you should go pro, or was it something you always had in your own head?
Well, I always had it in my mind that to turn professional eventually anyway. But a couple of times there, like I was fighting in the National Stadium and stuff, people come up to me afterwards and say, like, like pro style is what they were saying to me. And I kind of agreed, like, you know, I like, so a lot of times I could lose the first round in the amateurs just getting into the fight, like, and then you have 2 rounds you're playing catch up, like it's hard to come back, like, after you lost the first round. But it came out really, I lost when did I lose? I lost in February there to Jack Marley in the under-22 final, and it was a terrible decision. Like I got caught clean, but I left up, but like I wasn't dazed or anything, and the ref called off. And then after that decision, like I just kind of said, like, I'm not fighting. I don't want to fight. Fucking, I don't want to do that anymore. Like I don't want to do the amateurs anymore. And then I was up training. Spike got me onto Pascal Collins. Then started training up with him. Now, like a couple of months now, and yeah, it's kind of kicking off from there now. Literally, how I got the opportunity for this fight, I was just in the gym last week, and Tony Davitt was there, and they were just looking for someone to be on the yard. Like Pascal said, you know, like he's a good fighter there. Get him on, like.
Yeah, right place at the right time.
Yeah, literally, yeah, right place, right time.
And is Pascal then going to train you? Obviously, moving forward, who's going to be in your corner?
Yeah, Pascal's my trainer and manager now, so I have a good team behind me, and hopefully moving forward we get the ball rolling now this next month and get plenty of fights in over the next year.
Pascal's obviously a good man to have in your corner. He's so much experience. Obviously, I'm not going to give away how many years he's been at it, but obviously his brother is probably one of the legends, obviously, of the sport. And I guess you probably couldn't pick a better person than Pascal to have in your corner.
Yeah, no, he's a very nice guy as well, and I feel like he's 100% genuine. You know, he has good intentions, and I think he'll look after me.
And I guess there's plenty of characters obviously in that gym as well. Obviously, Thomas Carty, like I'm fed up listening to him at times. You know, you have plenty of wind up merchants there, but I guess it's that humour that makes the training go a wee bit easier for you.
Yeah, it's good to have a bit of a laugh and a joke when you're training in the gym, especially when you're doing them hard rounds and destroying your body. Like,
yeah, that makes things easier. And your debut, obviously 3 weeks today, obviously in a place you're very familiar with, and obviously in the National Stadium.
Yeah,
I guess it's sort of a dream come true. I guess, you know, when you last fought there in February and things, you probably didn't realise here I'm going to be turning pro later on the year and going to be fighting in the National Stadium. Like,
yeah.
How much does that mean to you? Obviously, somewhere you've boxed before that you're going to make a professional debut in.
Yeah, I have good memories and bad memories from losing and winning my national titles there. So like I can't wait now to start the pro career with the win in the home of Irish boxing, like, you know what I mean? And that's it, like.
It's definitely a decent card. Obviously, I think there's be 10 fights in the card. Obviously, Elite Sports Management seem to be starting the revival, obviously, of boxing in the South. I think it's 3.5 years, over 3.5 years since the last show was there. So I guess everybody's sort of looking to them to see how things go, and hopefully boxing in the South will start booming again.
Yeah, hopefully now this just kicks everything off. I'd love to have a few shows in Cork as well, because as you said, there's lots of talent down coming from Cork, like, so there should be no reason why there shouldn't be a show here. And with all the fighters coming out, we'd sell it out, like, whatever we do it, like.
Definitely, you've obviously Tommy Hyde, obviously in Cork as well. There, as I guess the more fighters you have, it makes it easier for fight cards to happen in Cork.
Yeah, there's a lot of us coming out now. Like, we could probably fill a card just with ourselves, like, at the moment, like.
And obviously, what can people expect? I guess obviously, in you turning pro, what sort of style and things like that. What sort of type of fighter would you classify yourself as?
Well, with Pascal now, I'm going to try and change from the amateur points more, and I'm going to be going for the knockout. Like, I'm going to be come take someone's head off, like, to be honest. So expect more.
And I guess the thing with obviously turning professional as well is the fantastic thing, obviously, professional boxing, when you start off, you're not going into the sort of the levels you were used to as an amateur, sort of, you know, are you sort of preparing for, because your first few fights will probably be against journeyman type fighters. They take the stabilizer slowly off, but are you sort of, I guess that's a good thing that you have, where you can get that time to adjust from point scoring as an amateur to obviously now you're trying to take somebody's head off.
Yeah, I think it's good to ease your way into it, like, but just for like the change of style, to go for the knockout, and, you know, the adjusting of the training and the conditioning for the more rounds as well. So yeah, I can't wait now, to be honest.
Definitely, and I guess everybody obviously sometimes, you know, I guess when you were 11 or 12, thinking of becoming a professional boxer, you're thinking of millions of pounds. You obviously now you're going to have to learn the craft for a while now and sort of build the focus up. Have you got any sponsors involved yet that you obviously like to thank for coming on board?
Yeah, I'd like to thank the Half Bar in Cork, and Stephen Harness, Profix Maintenance, and Garrett from Audit. They're 3 sponsors at the moment. I thank them. They're been a great help now getting this fight over the line and getting the camp underway.
Definitely, and I'm sure obviously if there's any more, I guess once people see that you've ditched the amateur vest and you've turned pro, you'll obviously have more interested in getting involved and obviously becoming a sponsor as well.
Yeah, hopefully now we'll kick it off now in 3 weeks' time, and we'll fucking get flying in. The cause is flying in.
Definitely. And how active do you sort of want to be? As I guess, you know, is it probably as active as the Pascal can get you fights? And I guess,
yeah, I'd like to be as active as possible. I don't see why I shouldn't get up to them 6 and 8 rounds as soon as possible. Really, like.
and I guess the divisions are sort of stacked as well. Obviously, you know, super middleweight and light heavyweight. There's plenty of obviously domestic fights to be built up in the near future. I guess the thing for you is getting a few fights under your belt first and foremost to learn the craft of pro boxing before you can even start the challenge for any belts.
Yeah, it's about just building now like a 4-rounder in 3 weeks, maybe another 4-rounder. We'll see what happens from there. You know, building up the rounds and see what way they go. Anyway.
Definitely. Well, Cathal, obviously I want to thank you for coming on and having a chat. I guess more than anything, now I can sort of go away knowing a bit more about you. Unfortunately, I'll not obviously be in Dublin in 3 weeks' time because it clashes with a show here in Belfast on the same night. But we obviously wish you all the very best of luck with your upcoming professional debut, and I'm sure we'll catch up with you soon to see how things went.
Yeah, thanks.
All right,
for having me
Cathal,
on.
cheers. Not a problem. Take care. Thanks. Bye bye. Bye bye.